about Yabacon Valley. That's Yaba in Lagos. That's where you have most of these guys. We have innovation hubs like the CC Hub, the Enterprise Development Center, EDC. We have Vertebrate Tech Hub. We have Venture Park in Abuja. While I was also just doing some research, I saw that we have some other small tech hubs springing up in different states, in Kano, in Kaduna, Bauchi, in different states. And I think it's really, really impressive to see things like that, but we need more of these things. In the last couple of years as well, the tech companies have seen large influx of investments in them from countries like the UK, US, China, and France, just to mention a few. So it means that globally, people are seeing what we're doing and they're interested in the things that we're doing, and they think that these things can actually scale. They are willing to invest to help us to improve the solutions that we develop. That's a good thing. It's a good trend to take note of. Also, there's innovation within the subsectors in the fintech space, right? So fintech as a whole, there are subsectors within fintech, right? So within the fintech space, you have payment companies like the PiggyVest. Payment companies, I would say Flutterwave, Paystack, right? JumiaPay, MogaPay. Those are the payment companies that have payment infrastructures to enable seamless payments. We also have the savings companies as a different category of the fintech, and that's where the PiggyVest, the Cowrywise actually come in, changing the savings culture of the Nigerian population, right? We also have lending. That's another subsector of fintech. In lending, we have companies like Red Money. Can anyone mention one of the lending companies to me? Did I hear something? Branch. There's Fair Money as well. Carbon is more like Carbon is a digital bank, I think. All credit. Okay, so they also offer loans as well. So it doubles as a lending company and a digital bank. Yeah. We have investment company also. Rise. Please give me the names. I don't seem to remember them. We have Rise Vest. We have Chaka. Which other one? You guys should talk to me now. No, PiggyVest is savings, not really investments. So investment companies are those ones that give you the opportunity to invest in the stock market, equity funds, real estate, and all this. Yeah, Bamboo is another one. Yeah, Trove is another one. Thank you very much. So yeah, so those are the companies that are in the category of investments. Then I mentioned digital banking. I mentioned Carbon earlier. Yeah, we have Kuda as well. Kuda Bank. Those are digital banks. We also have the crypto trading companies, another subsection of fintechs. You know them. What are they? Patricia. Which other one? Behance is not a Nigerian company. It's not. It's not a Nigerian company. Say that again. Flux. I'm not even sure I know Flux, but yes. Thank you. So we have, we also have InsurTechs. Cassava. Please give me the names. I don't know why I don't seem to remember them. Say that again. No, we're not an InsurTech. We're a traditional insurance company, but we power the InsurTechs. So what we do basically is, because of the regulation, right, you have to have a certain level of capital to get licensed as an insurance company. So the InsurTechs do not have that capital available. Of course, they are startups, they don't have the capital. So, but of course, they are InsurTechs, they can do policies for customers. So what happens typically is that they partner with us, traditional insurance companies, and whenever their customers buy on their platforms, we are the ones underwriting those policies, but the customers do not know that. They just think they are buying from the InsurTech, but we are the ones servicing those businesses. So that's how it works. Like PiggyVest as well. PiggyVest, you want to save money, you transfer to your Wema account. Wema Bank is the one powering piggy banks. They're not a bank, but you get to send money to your virtual account, right? So that thing is called banking as a service. With insurtechs as well, it's called insurance as a service. So we are providing insurance as a service to the insurtechs. But it's a good thing. That's the evolution of the ecosystem, and we are excited to see these things. So these are really, really improvements from where the industry used to be. In terms of customer experience, the fintech companies have done a lot to smoothing the experience of customers, right? With e-commerce, for example, it's easier now to buy online, right? There is a payment infrastructure behind that e-commerce service. You go on Jumia, for example, and you buy, you can easily just pay. Some of them even provide buy now, pay later options. Some of them even give you loans to purchase on their website. So the payment, the fintech infrastructure is actually the one servicing these industries. Same thing happens in the health insurance for the health tech companies, right? These fintech guys have made it easy for you to easily purchase your health insurance seamlessly. You make payments, you can pay now, you can pay later, you can integrate Paystack. It's easy for you to do these things because the fintech has provided that infrastructure for that to be made possible. We're also seeing a lot of expansions, right? A lot of the startups are leaving Nigeria, not leaving Nigeria, but expanding to other countries. The craziest of it was when I saw a company, MFS Africa, earlier in the year, it bought an American company over. I was like, wow, that's seriously. So Nigerian companies, African countries are now buying companies in the US, the type of backing that they have, the type of capital that they have, and they really want to expand into the sophisticated market. They want to do business in a short time. All right, so that's it for the trends. Now let's talk about the pillars of the Nigerian tech ecosystem. There are 4 of them. Okay, I've just been told that my time is running fast. So there are four pillars. First one is talent. Second one is capital. The third one is regulation, and the last is the infrastructure. Talent. You and I are the talents, right? The skills that we've developed, programming skills, the data analytics skills that we have, the product management skills that we have. We are the real talent. We are the ones making these things happen. Without us, there's really no ecosystem, right? So this is just to let you know that you are one of the strongest pillars of that is driving the ecosystem today, right? Capital is also another thing. So without capital, businesses cannot run. The investment that the startups are receiving is actually helping them to scale their business, helping them to expand, helping them to seamlessly provide these solutions. And then regulation as well is also one of them. Although a lot of people will say that the regulators are actually stifling growth to a very large extent. I don't know how many people remember what happened in January 2020 with the Okada ban in Lagos. A lot of companies were affected, Okada, OPay, and the likes, the ride-hailing guys. They're really affected by that regulation. Lagos State decided to shut them down. There was also the crypto ban. That was last year. The CBN governor banned crypto. The crypto companies actually suffered for a while, but I think they found their feet at the end of the day. So these are things that actually stifle the growth of the startups. And to a very large extent, these regulations actually determine the extent to which these startups can innovate. Infrastructure is also another thing. In Nigeria, we have issues with electricity, folks have gone up, right? And in this day and age where people work remotely, you need power to be able to stay up to work. You need to power your gen, right? You need to buy fuel. It's expensive. Internet is really not as affordable as it should be. So these are the infrastructure that actually impacts, that affect the ecosystem as well. All right, because of our time, I'll just move on to the next slide. So the next slide talks about the weaknesses and challenges in industries. I'll just touch on them briefly so we can move on. One thing is, finding the right talents. That's a challenge and also an opportunity for all of us here. We need to upskill ourselves, get that level of skill that will be highly sought after in the industry. The size of the addressable market. Yeah, I spoke about population earlier, but I mean, how many of this population can we actually really serve? So it's something to think about. Difficulty in scaling as well. You need investment to scale. If you don't get investment early, you might not be able to scale as fast as you can. For infrastructure, I spoke about that earlier. Low prioritization of tech in some sectors. Some sectors are actually far behind. An example of the insurance that I mean as well. A lot of insurance companies are not really reinventing themselves as is expected. High cost of internet and low internet penetration as well is also a problem. Talent poaching. The guys that are even the people that are really skilled, the foreign companies are poaching them. Leaving the local startup to scramble for what's left of that. Everybody wants to get an international job, and we've seen a lot of that happening. Ill-equipped entrepreneurs, right? So it's really not about writing code. It's not all about developing solutions, but you need to know how to run a business. When you become a business, you need to know how to interact with investors, basically. So for the tech hubs, for our universities and all, it's important that they begin to teach entrepreneurial skills alongside teaching you the technical skills, right? Inadequate exposure outside Lagos. I can tell you guys for a fact. I mean, the way it is in the ecosystem in Lagos is not the same way elsewhere. I wish that what we have in Lagos can be replicated across board, so that there's that room for competition across board, right? Somebody in Kaduna should be competing with somebody in Lagos as well, because they have that level of skill as well. Aggressive policies, the regulators, we spoke about that already. Low involvement of government. That one is really something that I'm really saddened about, right? The government to do more to support this ecosystem. They need to invest in the ecosystem, because there's a lot of value that can be realized from this. But I don't want to waste so much time. I'll move on to the next slide. And I'll ensure that this slides with everyone. But there are also opportunities, right? A lot of these things that we've discussed so far. Maximizing talent and young population. 50% of Nigeria's population, they are under 20. What can we do about that? We need to upskill the young ones, so that as they grow, they begin to think about solutions, right? They need to change the way things are being done. It's really, really important. So these are the opportunities that we have. We need to be intentional about this. Creation of new data layers. I think there's also opportunities. In case anyone is thinking about a solution, you can think about a solution that can help to aggregate data across board. So you pick a sector, for example, say payments, and build a solution where people can actually find data on certain markets, right? In terms of price points, in terms of the addressable market, what's obtainable. It's easier for them to build solutions because they have access to data. Something as regards this, but it's something to think about as well. Data is the new oil. If you can provide that, then that makes sense. In the involvement of the private sector. So I think the private sector has a big role to play as well. The private sector is much more, I think is much more progressive than the public sector. A lot of things going on in the private sector. We need to do a lot to interact with this ecosystem. We need to collaborate to drive value. Aftermath is doing something in this regard, which I'll talk about in my next slide briefly. Focus on entrepreneurial skill development, very important. The hubs, innovation hubs in our educational system is something that we need to be really intentional about. If we can get this right, I think the future looks really, really bright. So we also need to intentionally improve our interaction with the regulators. I hear that some startups these days are actually setting up a dedicated role for someone that will be liaising with the regulators, right? Someone that would be at the forefront of conversations, to make the regulators understand, what's happening on their side so that policies can actually be written to favor those businesses. It needs to be done. As you're building your solutions, you need to build those relationships with regulators so that they don't stifle your growth. Make them understand, the value that your solution will be bringing, and engage. It's really, really important. All right, so I'll just move on to the next slide. I'll quickly just talk about what we're doing at Axamansat. We're doing something called Innovation Exchange, and it's a methodology that we have put in place to leverage on external innovation. So we know that there are people that, like the insurtechs that you spoke about earlier, there are guys that are building solutions for insurance. But you see, insurance is a complex industry. If you have not worked in insurance or if you don't have formal training, it's quite difficult to understand the inner workings of insurance. And we know that most guys that come up with such solutions, they're not really insurance people, but they mean well and they have great ideas. So we're intentionally partnering with the guys in insurance in something we call the Innovation Exchange Program. And basically what we're trying to do is just to ensure that they bring their ideas on board. And for us within the industry, we are able to support them to develop their solutions, to build their products by offering them technical expertise. So when we do that, we think that they are able to leverage on our technical expertise to build the solution that they intended to build. And at the end of the day, it adds value to that particular sector. All right, just moving on. The opportunity buckets are across 5 areas. You might not really know, but we are very, very interested in people that have solutions around distribution, how to distribute insurance products, how to manage claims. I mean, insurance is really about claims payment. So if you have solutions that you think can actually improve how claims are being paid, we're very open to it. Technical and underwriting management. So when we write insurance policies, what we're basically doing is underwriting. You have ideas around how you think you can improve the underwriting process, we're interested. Customer management, managing customer life cycle from when they get onboarded to when they buy policies to when they come and claim for those policies and when they even renew their policies. How do you think we can manage these guys across from when they come on board to when they have reason to claim in the insurance industry? Then payment is also another important part as well. Insurance is peculiar, right? How do you think we can invent payments, right? What payment plans do you think would help us in that industry to revolutionize how we do business? Then we also have technology that we're interested in. We think, and we've also assigned priorities to these different technologies. So low code, no code is one of the things that we're interested in. Low code, no code are things like USSD, QR code technologies. What do you think? What are the interesting things you think can do with these sort of technologies? Mobile as well. We know that mobile, the use of mobile is on the rise constantly. So what solutions do you think we can build on mobile that can help us? Anything around data, we're definitely interested. Artificial intelligence, including robotics, connectivity, blockchain, social technology, virtual reality. And well, we're not really placing so much priority on quantum computing. We think it's complex and we're not in an advanced market. But these are the areas where we think we want to support startups that have solutions in this area. And with this, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. I'll take any questions. No questions? Okay, I'll take it that everybody understood what has been discussed. Yes, definitely. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Another round of applause for Mr. Eniola. As far as I'm concerned, he has just given a lot of our teams today some scruncher or expo. If you're not very familiar with the insurance landscape, get those slides, because those areas, the service offerings, of the, what I call it, not the service offering, but the key processes in insurance, yeah, are worthy of attention. When I talk with a client, one of the things we tend to ask them about in their organization is, what are your pain points? Where are the places in your organization where you need relief or you need solutions, or where you're having problems right now? And for most organizations, when they tell you what their pain points are, if you can come up with a solution that addresses that problem, their ears, as in their, like, you know how a dog's ears can move when it hears a sound in a particular area, they are ready to listen to you, and they are ready to commit funds to it. So that, one of the areas that struck me there, that reminded me of a startup I know that they've gone through. I remember the one of the founders, when they started, I knew him from Nigeria, but I met him in Ghana, where they came from, in an incubator program. Right from that stage, they got some initial funding, they got through to another level of funding. They've gone live now, they've integrated with a bunch of the large health management organizations in Nigeria, and they're helping them in this same sector, managing claims. This claims management thing is a serious source of revenue for the hospitals and for the HMOs, but it's also a serious headache. And organizations that are able to provide solutions to the headaches that they have there are going to cash out, or cash in, as the case may be. So it's good for you to understand the sector. So get the slides as quickly as you can. The FSI team will have access to those slides, and they can email them to you. If your solution was already looking at insurance, please feel free to use it as a guide. But if you've already started your stuff, which I know you have, and you're in a different sector, you're working on transportation or health or something else, please carry on with your work. Don't get distracted now, because I'm just giving you this expo. So please, with that, we come to the end of that session, and we're going to take another quick session now. So it's very interactive, and it's on how to pitch your solution. All of us have heard the phrase elevator pitch, right? Yeah. So an elevator pitch is just, it's actually one of the critical ways you can get an idea across to someone. And it's one of the best things you can learn as a person. You should be able, in 2 minutes or less, to conclude any major conversation you need to have with anyone, no matter what it is. Good morning, sir. My name is Derek Walford, and I'm from XYZ Corporation. We provide solutions to companies that are in this situation. From my understanding of it, your company has this problem because you've been in operation for 15 years. And right now, there's a major gap between the technology you've deployed right now and changes in the industry. We have some solutions that I can bring to you, and they can give you the bridge between where you guys are right now and where you need to be. I'd love some more of your time to present this to your tech team and hear what your thoughts could be on them. Boom.